Hello, geometry students. Today we're going to learn how to name the arcs of a circle. Before we start, we need to learn the body parts of a circle. So the center point is the point at the very center of the circle, and that's crucial because we use that center point to name the circle. We use the circle symbol and the capital letter that represents that center point when we name circles. Another important thing to know about a circle is in blue here, you'll see a diameter, which is a special segment whose endpoints are on the circle, but that segment goes through the center point. And in red, you see a radius, an example of a radius, PC here, which is half the length of the diameter and starts at the center and has an endpoint on the circle. And a central angle is an angle formed by two radii. Now, what is an arc? An arc can either be a minor arc, a semicircle, or a major arc. And we'll be defining those more as we progress. So first, let's start with the semicircle. Semicircle is half a circle. Now, when you name it, though, you're going to need 3 points because you can see, if I've drawn in this example here, I could either be talking about the red semicircle or the black semicircle. And so when you name a semicircle, you're going to need a total of 3 points. You're going to start with one endpoint. You're going to mention any point it passes on its way to the other endpoint. So for this red arc, we use the arc symbol, and we could either name it DTE or ETD. If we want to name that red semicircle. What if we wanted to name the black semicircle? If we wanted to name the black semicircle, we would have to start at an endpoint. So you could either name it D through X on the way to E, so DXE with the arc symbol, or you could name it E through X to D, in other words, EXD. And so you have a couple options as long as you begin and end with an endpoint and use any point it passes on its way to the other endpoint. What is a minor arc? A minor arc is an arc that is smaller than a semicircle. And when you're dealing with a minor arc, you only need to use the endpoints. So you could name this arc AC or arc CA. And remember, you have to put the arc symbol above those letters. And a major arc is an arc that is larger than a semicircle. And again, you have to use 3 points to name a semicircle. So this red semicircle, you could either name ATC or you could name it CTA. You have to begin and end with the endpoints and then use any point it passes on its way in between the two endpoints. So for semicircles and major arcs, you need 3 letters. For minor arcs, you just need to use the endpoints. So here's an example of a minor arc, less than a semicircle, and a major arc in blue, bigger than a semicircle. So see if you can come up with another way to name each of these arcs. So pause the video and name, write on your paper a couple minor arcs that you happen to see in this diagram, some minor arcs of this circle O. Any of these would have been correct answers. Name the semicircles of this circle. Any of these would have been correct answers. You could say A through C to E, or you could say C through E to D, or you could say A through D, E through D to A, or D through A to C. Any of those would be perfectly fine. All right, so now on your own paper, pause the video and name some major arcs of circle O that contain point A. Any of these answers would have been correct. So now practice. Pause the video, and on your own paper, name the minor arcs of circle A, name the semicircles of circle A, and then name the major arcs of circle A that contain, this time, point Q. So pause, answer those questions, and then press play for the solution. For minor arcs, those are arcs that are smaller than semicircle, and we just need 2 points to name. Any of those would be correct answers. For a semicircle, we're going to need 3 points, the endpoints, and then any point it went through in between those two endpoints. So either of those would be fine. And then for a major arc of the circle that happens to contain point Q, any of those would be correct answers. So that is it for naming arcs. I will leave you with this picture of spring allium, and I will wish you a great day.